14:20 in the morning for this January 4th, 2023. Today, this show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 in the process. And it puts a couple bucks in our pocket as well for beer money, I guess, whatever it may be. But anyways, it is semifinal Wednesday, World Junior Tournament getting going. I've already got my Team Canada jersey on, raring to go. The puck drops in about 10, 11 hours from now. I'm pretty revved up. I might have to take a little nap later on. But anyways, Canada, U.S. going tonight. We got Sweden and the Czech Republic starting off the earlier game today, but it should be a fun one to watch. There's no getting around that. Canada, the Connor Bedard show keeps going there in Halifax. It's got to keep rolling. They've been a one-trick pony pretty much so far this entire tournament, so Bedard's got to keep going. Things haven't been great for Canada and the U.S. In the last 9 games, with the U.S. winning 6 of the last 9 at the World Juniors. You remember the 2007 game, the Jonathan Toews game, where he went and scored on every bloody penalty shot he took. Al Montoya, I think, was in net for the United States. That's a long time ago. Ex-Michigan goalie, I believe, Al Montoya. But it should be a fun one. Canada has had a lot of trouble with the United States. There's nothing that the U.S. likes better than beating Team Canada at the World Juniors, especially on Canadian soil. And they're going to get the chance tonight. They got a heck of a hockey team there with the U.S. Both teams lost the tournament early, because if you're going to lose in this tournament, it's better to get it out of the way nice and early, because later on it could harm you a lot. And as we know, starting it was on Monday night with the Bedard goal against Slovakia, that they ended up getting the win in overtime and the like, whereas the U.S. breezed through their semifinal game with the Germans 11-1 or 12-1, whatever it may be. It should be a great game, lots of energy. Should be a great crowd there in Halifax again. That might be one of the keys to the game. We'll get to that in half a second. But I'll give you my 5 keys to this game. I think that got to happen for Canada to be successful, the U.S. to be successful, or 5 key points. I guess it's going to be for the U.S. to have any chance of winning this hockey game. They have to slow down Connor Bedard. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if you can stop the kid. You can slow him down quite a bit. He's not a big body, but like I said, on yesterday's 14:20 in the morning, the physical stuff doesn't seem to slow him down at all. He seems to be able to take it and dish it out a little bit. He took that big cross check late in the game on Monday night, which he just propelled him to get the overtime winner. But for the U.S. to have any kind of hope, they have to slow Bedard down, because Canada's secondary scoring has not been good at all. Say what you want about his playmaking abilities and everything else. Bedard's there to score goals, and he's been doing the Western League. He's been doing it at this tournament, and he's there to score goals. And they have to, if they slow him down, they have a really good shot at winning this hockey game. Any hockey game, no matter what, especially when it comes to a one-game winner-take-all. This is my second point. The goaltending matchup, this one looms large. The U.S. has a 17-year-old kid going. Trey Augustin, I think his name is, 4-0 with a 938 goals or save percentage, 5 goals and 81 shots. He's been really good, but he's 17 years old. Will the pressure get to him in this tournament, or will he be like the Slovak goalie the other night, where he just if we talk about the Green Bay Ramblers of the USHL, who the pressure in that raucous crowd didn't seem to bother him a bit, and he was great for the Slovaks. Will the U.S. be able to get that kind of a tournament out of him again? For Canada, I expect their the Canadian kid to be just as good. Same basic stats all around. 921 save percentage, six goals against, 76 shots, the whole bit. So they're basically even stats wise. It's going to be interesting to see, like I said, the 17-year-old, how he handles the pressure. I predict Milic will be okay. He made some big saves in overtime on Monday night, so that's a big confidence boost for Team Canada and their defensive core, where they'll know they'll be able to hold back, and they can maybe press forward a little bit and be a little more offensive minded, which they're going to need to get past this American team. And maybe the D-men can chip in with a point or two at this semifinal game, because it's very important to get that secondary scoring, like I said. But I expect the Canadian goaltender to rise to the occasion and maybe be a little bit better than the American kid. 2 years doesn't seem like a lot, but Remember when you were 19 compared to when you were 17. It's a big difference between the ears, and that's where it all matters at this tournament. The skill level is basically the same throughout, other than Bedard. Don't get crazy with me. Other than Bedard, the skill level throughout is pretty much the same, player through player. The Americans have a bunch of first round guys as well. So, and the Canadian guys have a bunch of NHL guys. So it kind of cancels each other out the way things are. But goaltending is always an important thing in international hockey, in any hockey in general. That the goaltender is the most important guy on the ice. You show me a good coach, I'll show you a good goaltender. That's the old saying. That's why I never had any good coaches. So that's the one thing. The U.S. defense, smaller, but they move the puck a lot better. They're a little bit quicker. They're diminutive. The one kid that's what the hell's his name? Why can't I think of it right now? It's early in the morning. Hughes can move the puck. He's really good. He's a diminutive forward or diminutive defenseman. They can move the puck really well. They jump up in the play quite well, and you expect them to be a little bit more active with their forwards and getting the play moving, and then stopping the fast moving Canadian forwards. I think that they skate better than the Canadian D-men do. But the thing is with Canada, if you can't hit them, you can't catch them, you can't hit them, right? So if Canada's speed picks up, the smaller guys, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, with the U.S. defensemen jumping up in the play the way they do, if the Canadian defensemen can't stop these guys because they're fast and they move the puck quite well, if we can't catch them, we can't hit them either. In the Canadian game, yeah, it's changed over the years. It's not so much of a crash and bang and everything else like Canadian hockey fans like it to be. The hit them, punch them, kill them theory isn't a part of Canadian hockey or hockey in general anymore. It's a different game than it was 20 years ago. Yes, the physical stuff does come in handy for sure, but it's not as prevalent as it was even 5-10 years ago. So it's very important to be able to skate with these guys, because that's the biggest thing, skating in this tournament. If you can't skate, you can't play. It's really simple. Number 4, the secondary scoring for Canada has to be there. I expect Shane Wright to jump up in this tournament tonight. I expect him to have a big game for Canada. He hasn't really done a whole bunch, and that might be because he hasn't played a whole bunch in this year at all. When he was with the Seattle Kraken, he's been a healthy scratch for a lot of the season. I kind of expect him to end up back in junior when this tournament's all said and done, because Seattle's kind of rolling a little bit still, and he's not going to get the ice time you need to develop at this young age. And I don't think sitting in the stands at the Climate Pledge Arena or whatever, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called, isn't going to help out his career development at all, and I expect him to get sent back down. But I think tonight he's got to be the guy for Canada to jump up, get a few extra goals, and take a bit of the pressure off Connor Bedard, because I expect the Americans to be just as nasty or nastier with Bedard and be more physical with him and try to slow him down, because it seems to me that Canada is a one-trick pony right now, but that pony's been really good, and he's been unstoppable thus far. So maybe the secondary scoring won't be needed that much. The Canadian coach leans on Bedard quite a bit, but is the 17-year-old going to crash and burn? I hope not tonight. I hope if he does decide to do it, it's against the Swedes, because Sweden never wins because there's too many Swedes, right? So there is that. I expect Wright to have a big game. Look for that with Team Canada tonight, and I expect the secondary scoring to come from him, and maybe the D-man will jump up with a goal or two as well. Should be a fun one. Should be great. The crowd, I think that could be the number one X factor in this hockey game in Canada. As we all know, it's our game, it's our town, it's the whole country's watching this game. It's a thing in Canada more so than any other country around this world. The entire country watches this game. The entire country will be glued to this game tonight, and the kids know it from Canada. Problem you got with that is that extra added pressure that the Canadian kids, I don't know if a 17-year-old or a 19-year-old can handle that kind of pressure, because that's a lot going on between your ears, right? And between the ears is where it all matters when it gets down to this kind of a game. The first 5 minutes could be crucial in this type of a hockey game, where Canada has to keep their emotions in check. If they come out crashing and banging like Jordan Tutu style back in 1999 or whatever year that was, when Tutu was playing, I think it was back in Halifax, that tournament too, but it was somewhere on the East Coast. But if they come out crashing and banging and take a dumb penalty that could silence the crowd at an early power play goal by the U.S., that could hurt a lot. So Canada has to keep their emotions in check, and you wonder how the Americans, who most of these kids play U.S. college hockey, they have some big crowds, but nothing like they faced in Canada, and they've been playing elsewhere in this tournament so far. Whereas Canada, the Canadian guys, they got to be a little bit used to this crowd so far. So it should be a fun one to watch tonight with that crowd, with the country behind you. And even though they're in Halifax, if you're someone cheers out in Victoria, BC, they'll be able to hear it out there in Halifax, because hopefully the bars and restaurants and places are packed, and people are wearing their Canadian jerseys as I am already. And the game's, like I said, is 10 hours away, but it should be a fun one to watch. The X factor, I think, is going to be huge. Canada has to keep their emotions in tow. They can't do anything stupid to start the game off. And a lot of times you get that young testosterone flowing a little bit. Dumb penalties can happen. It happens quite often, and the crowd gets silent. I do also think that if the U.S. can hold off the first 5 to 8 minutes of the game and not give up a quick one and keep the crowd out of it a little bit, it could be in Canada's or in the US's favor, because all of a sudden emotion, you start trying to do too much, as we've seen Bedard doing a couple times. I'm not picking on him. He's been trying to do too much as a young kid. In that very first game against the Czechs, you notice that all of a sudden they were becoming quite individualistic, and they were trying different things. I don't suspect we'll see another couple of Michigan attempts tonight. I don't think that's going to be a thing. But I do think you're going to see a great hockey game. I think you're going to see an emotional hockey game. But the thing is that American team, these kids all know each other, playing different summer hockey and clubs and tours and travels. So these kids know each other through all the program of excellence things and the different tournaments they've been playing. They play U14, U15, international hockey. So these kids all know each other quite well. And it's going to be interesting to see how Canada reacts. There's nothing the Americans love more than beating the Canadians on their home ice, and especially in front of a big crowd like there is going to be tonight. You wonder if there's any tickets left. Get them on SeatGeek and use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today. Save yourself $20. If you had a ticket, you probably aren't giving it up for any amount of money. I know I wouldn't, no matter what. That'd be a game you weren't selling that ticket. That's when you want to be in the building for. Should be a great one. I think Canada's going to win. I think the Bedard show is going to continue. He's going to put up another 2-3 point night. Maybe the Fantilli kid, I don't know how much ice time he's going to get, but he's been better as the tournament's progressed. He's the consensus number 2 pick behind Bedard, so it should be interesting to see that. The Snuggerud kid for the Americans has been real good. He's a first rounder with St. Louis, I believe, so he's going to be out there to score a couple, and hope the U.S. can weather the storm. We'll have a good game. I hope it's not a blowout either way. I hope it's a 3-2, 4-3 kind of a game, where Canada maybe having a 4-2, 3-1 lead late in the third, and the U.S. makes it a 1-goal game. I don't like those nail biters at my age anymore. That one the other night, it was fun. The butterflies were rolling a little bit, but I don't know if my old heart can take those anymore, because it's just different than it was 20 years ago when you'd thrive for those ones.